Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Devvon Tutorial in raw form, and welcome to another Help Me Devvon raw tutorial. And today, in this Help Me Devvon raw tutorial, I'll be showing you guys how to make your bass punch in 3 steps. And I really mean this, in 3 steps. Okay, check this out. I'm gonna play you an 808 for what it was when I got it at first. Check this out. This is what it sounded like originally. And then this is what it sounds like after I processed it. A huge difference, and the volume is actually not much of a significant difference, but I found a way to really get this 808 to punch, to feel powerful, and to really rumble in the sub. Now, if you're listening to this and you listen to this on a cell phone, you are not feeling what this thing transformed into, and I highly recommend you to play that back on headphones. I'm gonna show you exactly how to get your 808 to sound more punchy and powerful like that. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you guys to comment, like, subscribe. Make sure you visit at helpmedevvon.info at any time to get some of our presets, templates, and a bunch of goodies that are made just for you. Now back to the tutorial. Okay, so step 1 on how I get my 808s to sound like that is I'll start here. I'll start with this plugin that I have called Smack Attack. Okay. Now, what Smack Attack is, and you probably see me use this a lot in other tutorials, maybe your first time being here. I use this plugin a lot, and I like it because it is pretty much a transient shaper. What it allows me to do is it allows me to hone in on transient information and bring them out, or shape them, or basically create tones or change the tonality of them. I'll show you exactly what I mean. I'm going to bypass this, and I want you to look at the GUI as far as what it's showing me right up here. Check this out. Okay, so you see those little spikes that you see in the audio that's running? Those little spikes are the transients of the 808s, aka the hits. We want to take those hits and we want to make them stand out a lot more, because that's what's going to make your 808 or what you're looking for from a transient a lot harder. It's going to, that initial attack, we want to bring just those moments out. So what you do with the Smack Attack is you can come right over here, and there's this little knob that says sensitivity. I'm going to copy my settings right quick. So this little knob says sensitivity. As you can see, the sensitivity goes up and down. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tell Smack Attack, hey, you see those little moments right there? Anything that kind of touches that line above the threshold, I want you to just to bring out those little pieces. So that's what I did. So check this out. Let's put this back to 0 and watch this. So you see what happened. Long story short, I honed in on the sensitivity knob to those peaks, to those transients. And basically, when I found my spot, I then went to the attack, cranked that so that it brought the attack out of those transients a lot more, which is what you're hearing. And you're hearing that 808 basically punch a lot harder. And this is a simple trick that you can use to really get that. That is step 1. Let's put my settings back. Okay. Step 2, I'm going to glaze over these two because it's not as important. Those are kind of a stylistic thing, or just, case by case basis. The big one that I want to show you, step 2, subharmonic generators. Basically what the subharmonic generators are it's a plugin that basically adds harmonics to your signal. There are ones, as far as subharmonic generators, that are specifically for subs. I said sub. They are there specifically to add sub information. And that's what we're going to do next. We're going to add sub information into this 808. So check this out. I'll play it without first and bypass it. Without first. Let's put it right here and take a look. Now, this thing adds some serious low end. If you're listening on headphones or if you have a sub, you heard that. You felt it. It is powerful. It is rumbling. This thing gets so mean and scary. So this is a subharmonic generator that's adding subs. And I love the low air plugin from Waves. I'll be honest with you, it's probably my favorite subharmonic generator because of how natural it kind of just adds the nuances into the 808. It doesn't feel like it changes the character of it. It just feels like it brings out so much of what I want from that bottom end. So the settings I'm using basically is I go to 60 hertz and I basically crank the low knob. I don't even use the low air knob, to be honest. I crank the low knob to really just get some natural sub into that sub frequency. And that's really it. I just crank a bunch of sub in there. Now I know what you're saying. That is way too much sub. Well, that's what step 3 is for. Okay. Step 3 is multi-band compression. Okay. Now, don't be afraid of multi-band compression because I'm only using one band. The reason why we're using a multi-band compressor now is because we've added so much of that low bottom end into the signal. There's no way to get this into a mix and it not chew up a bunch of your headroom. So what you want to do is you want to add this this multi-band compressor in the 808 chain to basically control that low end, to make it tight, to make it so it doesn't stand out so much, but still maintain those harmonics that we just created. Okay. So this is without it, and then I'll play it and I'll bypass it back and forth. Check this out. It's tight, it's holding it, and it's really making sure that it doesn't really pass as far as how much it was before. It's really controlling, but at the same time, we still have all of those harmonics that we had there. It's just a lot tighter in the actual 808. Now, settings. I have it on a medium attack. I don't really want it. I still want a lot of those transients to kind of shine through. So I have it on a medium attack, still controlling those transients, but at the same time, letting it come through so that I can still get that initial feel of the hit. And I have the release at a pretty fast one so that I can release it pretty quickly so it can boom, 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 so that it can still feel good as far as the sound and as far as how it moves within the music. On top of that, I'm also using the ratio, and this is actually really, really important. When it comes to your ratio, when it comes to my low end stuff, I really like a slower ratio, a lower ratio. And the reason why is because when I take my ratio and make it harder, meaning I go up 4 to 1, 7 to 1, 8 to 1, I notice that the sound starts to feel a little bit more tight. And when it comes to low end, I don't want it to feel so tight. I really want it to feel warm, vibrant, and a little bit open. So I went for a 1:8 ratio just so it was compressing, but it didn't feel extremely tight, like it just kind of sucked the life out of everything with the 808. Now, that was 3 steps, but if you stayed this long, I do have one bonus that might be game-changing for you, okay? I got one more for you, just in case. So what I like to also do is I like to parallel compress my basses as well when it comes to my 808s. When I say parallel compress, long story short, what I'm saying is I take a copy of that signal of the same 808 or 9, and I basically compress the crap out of it. I'm talking about I smash it to death, no dynamics, just a brick wall smashing that entire thing. And that's basically what I did here. I added the smack attack into my parallel compression process signal as well, so that I can still get a little bit of a transient hit. But for the most part, I am smashing this thing to heck. I'm also rolling off some of the top end. And when it comes to my 808s and my other Pro Q, I'm also rolling off a little bit of that low end just because some of that stuff is going to be super unnecessary, that 15 hertz. There's nothing really down there that I really want. So I roll off a little bit of that too, just to let you know. So how do I use the parallel compressor in comparison with the original signal? I'm going to blend them together. So you see this knob right here that says 808 parallel. I'm going to turn this all the way down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up this smashed compressed signal of the 808 up and see what it sounds like. All right, check this out. I'm going to bring it up. This is the smashed signal getting introduced with the original signal. that's another technique as far as a fourth step that you could use to really get some more out of that 808 or 809 or just your bass in general. So that was my tutorial on 3 steps to get a more punchier, more powerful bass instrument as far as 808s or whatever your bass is in your mix. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. Make sure you visit us at helpmedevvon.info to get some of our templates, plates, presets, and a bunch of other goodies just for you. Also, make sure you follow us at helpmedevvon on the Instagram. And also, make sure you join our Discord community at any time to really just talk to a bunch of engineers, artists like yourself, aspiring to get better and to kick game and to get knowledge. So I hope that was helpful. And until next time, you guys.